Okay, everyone, today we're going to be working on a parallel circuit. Now, parallel circuits are some of the easiest circuits to use when... Casey, what the hell? So today we're going to show you how to build a parallel circuit. Now, with parallel circuits, there's going to be two parallel wires. So first, let me get the basics set up for the beginning of every circuit. So, with this, we can see that we started off the beginnings of the circuit. We have all the stuff connected here. Now, with this, we have all of this stuff. And now you see, when it gets here, there's two pathways it can go. Either go on the orange wire or into the LED. Now, we'd have another wire going from the LED here. There'd be an LED here, and then a reconnect there. So the electricity can choose two paths instead of being forced down one. So I'm going to go back to building and finishing this circuit. So now we have this. So now we have this segment where you can see that it is now going from here to there, and then this is also going there. So both of them are powered. And so if we turn this on, both of them should turn on. Voila. Now this is pretty wacky. Everyone, this is a parallel circuit. It's parallel because it's parallel to the other circuits. Revolutionary. Now let's look at this doohickey dicky. So, if with parallel circuits, there'd be two lights. That's wacky. That's one more than a normal circuit. So if we take out a light, guess what happens? The other one's still on. Even though that one of them is an absolute failure, this one has somehow succeeded in life. Now, this is not very normal, especially for people, but now if we take out the other one, guess what happens? The other one still is not a failure, despite the other one, being actual garbage doo-doo head. Now, that's pretty wacky. So, with this, the electricity has two paths that it can go along. The one that goes to this light and the one that goes to that light. So, if one path is disrupted, it just goes down the other path. Now, if you notice, this might be hard to see, but if you take out one, the other one will increase in brightness due to it now getting more volts because it used to be evenly divided between the two. Parallel circuits are pretty good for if something goes wrong on, let's say, a space station or other things, you don't want every other system along that series to go down. As in a series circuit, if you remove one light, the other one goes down.
All right. Most important thing to remember here is that you got to make sure that your resistor is good enough to resist the amount of power you are putting into it, or you'll burn your resistor. You also have to make sure that your light bulbs are working, or else you'll just sit there and think that your parallel circuit's wrong when it's not. It's just your light bulb. And do not have your power and your negative and positive power completely all the way up, or you'll blow up your capacitor like I did with Gus a little bit ago.
Whoa there, bud.
Now we're in the whiteboard room, aka the room with the whiteboard. Now, there's a lot of stuff with parallel circuits that differ from series circuits. Now, series circuits are pretty straightforward. You add up all the resistance, total resistance. Then you add the volt, and you find all that together. Now, with this, parallel circuits get a bit weird. So, a way to imagine parallel circuits is that this is its own little series thing. So, it's a series of this section, and that, as a series circuit would be. Now, how do we find the total resistance of that? Now, there's 400 ohms, 300 ohms. So what we want to do is we want to find 1 over this branch. It's going to be 1 over 400 ohms plus 1 over that branch, 1 over 300 ohms. Now, since electricity can choose which way to go, and then also all electricity travels through this, we're going to add 100 to that. And what we get is 100 plus 1 over 400 plus 1 over 300. Now, here comes everyone's favorite section, long division. Now, So at the end of that, we wind up with this. Now, this is probably the hardest part of the entire equation. But if you're as good as me, it's going to be 271.43 ohms.
So leave the door open or else.
Now, that is going to be the total resistance, so RT. Now, with RT, you can now find IT, which is going to be the voltage, which if we remember was 12 divided by 271.43, is going to be equal to after all of this, we get to this, which is IT. And with that, we can calculate all the stuff that we need for a parallel circuit. Now, with the series circuit, amperage is constant. The parallel circuit, voltage is constant. So between the two branches that we had last time, we're going to have an equal number of voltage. While among the whole system, amperage is constant. So with that, we sort of have to combine series and parallel circuit math to get an actual parallel circuit. But otherwise, we're going to get to Caden with our measurements.
This is a multimeter.
This is crack.
So how to measure the voltage through parallel circuit? This light right here, take the negative one and put it on the negative one, which would be the shorter one on this light. Then you take the positive one. Then the voltage is of this is 2. Then for funsies, just to make sure this is parallel circuit, you can go to this one down here and measure it too, and it should be the same voltage since it's a parallel circuit. All right, now we're going to measure amperage. Make sure you set your multimeter to where you can measure amperage or you'll freak it up. Okay, so now how to measure amperage. You take the black one and put on the negative one that should be out of the breadboard. Then you take the positive one, then you put it on the wire so that you complete the circuit, and that's your amperage, whatever your multimeter reads. And here it's got up to 9.3 I saw, so yeah.
What? I didn't see anything.
So this concludes our video on parallel circuits. Now, Casey, what the?